Hello, and welcome to another Let's Play of My Heart's Iron 4 Got to Damarun DLC version. I do have Graveyard Empires at this point, but no update. Single player US Socialist run. Um, so, things been going on in life. It's also been really brutally cold inside. With the heat not working and my sensitivity to cold, long COVID. I've always been sensitive to cold my whole life. Long COVID made it worse. It's been hard to muster energy for this game and the mental acuity. But I think I'm doing sort of all right today after kind of almost a day off. I needed it with everything wearing on me physically. I also spent some time trying to figure out what's going to go on, what the AI is going to do. But honestly, probably not worth worrying about too much. Although I have figured out Belgium, they have a spirit. Where is it? Yeah, to intervene in the Spanish Civil War. And even though I fast forwarded it because it's Bud, they get unique decisions to help. They don't take ones that send rifles or manpower to Spain, free manpower for um, what's currently their public and rifles. But I had to Switzerland fast forward. They do eventually take their decision to intervene and then to create a faction with Spain. First, they declare war, then they create a faction through their decision, I think, or maybe they just took the intervene. So they do eventually intervene. Not till after the Soviet Civil War, which should be happening soon because they're set to write opposition. Um, and then the Soviets actually join the war again against the Republic on the side of the Spanish Commune. Whereas this is Stalinist path, you can tell by international brigades, Spain. So Belgium sides with the Stalinists, the Soviet side with the Commune. That puts Belgium and the Soviets at war with each other probably eventually. But the interesting thing I'd noticed is this will lock them out of Soviet guarantee because they'll be at war. So they should eventually form the European Union if their war goes on long enough. Probably. I suppose if by the time they get to this, they're already a puppet. Um, then they would actually be in the faction already, and they would just bypass and join the Comintern. Well, then they can't because they're not fully independent, but they would. I guess Soviet tank developers. But yeah, if they manage to last long enough, they'll try and form the European Union. It'll be led by communist Belgium. Um, I don't know quite how that will look like. I've seen the Dutch do it before. Czech Entente exists, and the French, based on where they'll probably be joining that because known agreements, but they haven't canceled their guarantees. So I think they're going to be reaffirming Eastern commitments. Anyways, so they'll join the Little Entente or Czech Entente here. Czechs should probably eventually bring Romania into that. And they'll fight the Nazis, but the Nazis will, especially with Sudetenland, have almost no fortifications at this point. We'll just roll right over them, and it'll just be the French staring at the Germans across the Maginot Line. What this does provide, and this is interesting for me, is the opportunity if I were to join that faction, which I think France will become the leader of automatically. I don't think they have to spend political power when the Czechs surrender because they're major. If I join it before the French surrender, I can eventually end up with a French, Czech, Romanian, and Yugoslavian governments in exile. And that could be interesting. Free manpower, free generals. My war support is below 50%. I can even get war support from it, which probably not going to happen because I'm going to be rushing to increase my war support. I tried to figure out what I was going to do. I could do limited intervention, but I tested what that would do. It says it make it harder to mobilize your economy. It makes economy laws require congressional support and cost congressional support, and it doubles the political power cost. So what I probably need to do, Selective Training Act for 10% base war support. I'm at 0 right now. And all this is just, you can see, Pride of the Fleet and World Tension. Then guarantee the American Dream. That plus being defensive worth against the Neo-Confederates would put me at about 48%, maybe 50 with World Tension. I'll be trying to stay up political power because there's a war propaganda decision I can only do below 50s, which give me 6 more. And I should be able to comfortably go to war economy then. Maybe have an increased purchase of like steel or chromium for a little bit. Because of stupid war economy factory thresholds. When Democratic, it's kind of annoying. Some might consider an exploit. I don't think the U.S. would only partially mobilize if the Confederacy rose up again, though, especially with the state the world's in. I don't know. The U.S. focus tree is annoying, and it's one of the older ones. So I'm willing to do that little nonsense. I did compare. I was thinking about this. If I had gone, say, was not intending to go communist and just did women intervention very early because I didn't have Bowder and I wasn't doing stuff that caused the Second Civil War, the U.S. can actually object to the militarization of the Rhineland, and they can also object to the Anschluss, and which I won't be able to do an intervention in time for either. So they'll get 10% war support from this. Obviously, 10% selective training. They get the same long-term war support as going communist path. Because they won't get this guarantee of the American dream. But look at the other stuff. Same amount of war support, and as this path where I'm slower into limited intervention. I'll still want it for Scientist Haven, which I'll need to be still democratic, but limited intervention also make it easier to join a faction. Though I think I can do it anyways, but if I can't, it'll definitely allow me to join the Czech Entente before the French get outflanked by the Germans, either through a naval invasion or German troops marching through Belgium. But yeah, I'll be trying to join that faction and trying to maybe I can stop the fall of France and fight the Nazis. And if they do go to war with Belgium, Spain will be on that side by that point. Probably Spanish Civil War being concluded with Stalin Spain having puppeted Portugal. So it'll basically to the Nazis controlling the entire Iberian Peninsula and France if they overwhelm France. So, and then I would have to do like D-Day, but into Portugal instead of into Normandy. The UK is doing the whole thing. I also did check, and there is a chance the Swedes will actually, apparently they just haven't seen the event yet, get rid of this guy. And I'm not sure, I didn't look close enough, but they either form a faction with the British where the Swedes are the faction leader, or where the British are the faction leader if that happens. The British don't have a faction. If there were the Allies, they would join the Allies when they get switch country leaders. So they actually can leave the Axis. Potentially not before they're at war with the Czech Entente, though. So if the events happen in the wrong order, which is a RNG, I could end up at war with the British potentially, like through this cascade events. It's going to be, have to be cautious and consider carefully whether I want to actually join this faction or just send volunteers for a while. But I may have to fight the British Navy. I mean, it's good that I've put some thought into my Navy. Let's see. Got the Saratoga, the Bulge, and the Argonaut repairing. If I keep enough ships repairs. I might need one more Farragut class, though, here. This should be the last. The Ralph Talbot. But yeah, soon I'll be starting production of these once Newport News has been upgraded in size. It should be in just 14 days. November 10th, 16. The bigger issue is if all these things finish repair and there's nothing else, I might just want to get started on that last destroyer. We'll see. I might want the extra escort destroyer anyways. British Navy can cause issues with convoy raids, but let's go. I could sit here, I could optimize, I could min-max. Civil War is about to break out, and I could do that all day, but it doesn't matter. This is a war game in the end. I learned stuff, but it's not Stellaris. There's something which at some point I'll do a Let's Play of. It's very limited time. It's not like it goes for hundreds of years, so I should worry less about getting everything perfect. Got A12s, which are actually pretty much the same as P26s, except they have more guns. Which you would think you might want the P26s to do close air support then, because better fighters for skirmishes, like air battles, but you probably line stuff up whether it's CAS or air superiority. I was looking at air combat mechanics. CAS swap double visibility over the base, but air superiority would be fully visible, so they'll suffer less attacks. In theory, I should say the CAS will suffer less attacks at the levels of visibility they're realistically going to be around. They, I think, will still be just as good at attacking enemy fighters, and air attack is protective against disruption. So I probably want the CAS to do, well, CAS. The fighters do air superior, but they can double as CAS if I don't have enough. And yeah, I'm selling off anything bigger than a light airframe pretty much. Still actually have some tactical bombers and naval bombers and carrier nav carrier CAS for sale, which I can be almost certain all of this will eventually get bought, except maybe the except maybe the Corsairs and BM2s. We'll see. No one might want my carrier nav or carrier CAS. Presumably, yeah, I don't have any on my ships, so could do a training regimen for those. You know what? No one's bought it yet. I'm going to remove these from the market and train those up. But AIs would definitely buy the B6s, the B10s, the P2Ys. Kind of expensive for what they do. I'll use light airframes to do bombing. P-35s, selling the basically more expensive aircraft and keeping the cheaper for my own purposes. Forget about this, so I should just, yeah, train it up to regular, and then I can consider putting these on carriers. will Eric's be along the way, which eventually I'll probably want independent Air Force, then Chief of the Air Force, and then Air Independent Spirit once I have the experience. It's like our Wave of Command will make signing Clark cheaper. Same political power because I'll have a lot of demand for it. Anyways, film like the attack today. It's more aggressive. I'm mid-time here. I can't sit there and jack around forever. Let's go. Oh yeah, I'm buying some Canadian-made rifles. I'll need all the rifles I can get. Give me the rifles. All the rifles. To pause, and maybe I'll do a lot of it off with the game pause off camera with drawing battle lines once the Civil War breaks out, which should be very, very soon. And with Sneak Back Command Power, I decided I probably want to give Eisenhower a thorough planner because it's going to take a long time to get another 15 CP. And then eventually Bradley will need traits. And then before I even think about promoting these guys, I might want to consider giving Burke, who will actually be the one in charge of my Navy here. He'll eventually become a screen expert. Which I think historically there's a Burke class destroyer named after him. So it makes kind of a bit of sense, and eventually I'll become like expert level. Screen guy can hire him when he's a specialist, and I'll become an expert safe. Cloak pilot way. If I have to fight the British Navy, and without the help of a Mexican ally, you can eventually build a fleet, like in the multiplayer game. I mean, Mexico will probably, actually, I'll have to fight them eventually. Unless I join their faction. Yeah, got 3 battalions in training. There's, Kentucky needs a couple more. Where is it? 12 and the 10K. Both gonna suffer crits regardless, so it probably should go is make these guys 14K. Since they're not gonna reach regular anytime soon, these guys are. 14K is starting to get big enough for, I think my smallest assault templates are 14K. Also, off camera you guys see, I now have 3 divisions that have, I call them River Assault, they have 4 Marine battalions. Which makes them better for assaulting across rivers. I chose them from my very best divisions. These are all like at max hot climate acclimatization or close to being regular. They actually were regular, and they lost experience and they switched template. It's my very best, 3 of my very best divisions here, because if I have to cross this river to Little Rock, this is a major river. I don't have a ton of forces to push from this side. So after I take all this, whereas in a week, yeah, I can reinforce the 59th Infantry, and then that'll be the last of that. The next battalion will go and join the 55th Infantry here, which are very slowly gaining experience. They don't have much equipment, so I think they may actually reach the next experience a little faster, and not going to be pushing to Texas aggressively. Also, fast forwarding, show me the AI doesn't always have Dallas as their capital. Sometimes, I think in this version it's going to be New Orleans, or Mobile, Alabama, or Biloxi, Mississippi. So their capital's probably going to be smart to hear this. I think that'll be the first state to succeed. It's random, apparently, but it's not always Texas. So, trying to push in Texas rapidly to grab Dallas for a medal, not worth it. When you capture an enemy capital, that division becomes eligible for medal someday. Eventually they will move their capital to Richmond, but they don't do that instantly, even though they could take the decision on day one if they want. Yeah, so the only places to really aggressively be pushing is to take Arkansas for that mill, and Tennessee for Nashville for all these civ I've been building there. Seeing what happens when I finish this munitions plant, how much support I gain. I have to worry about the selective training act. Some support, I don't know how much from old age pension act. Also, two Asian Navy eventually, but I want to first guarantee the American dream so I can go to war economy. I don't know if I do war propaganda, I'm gonna have to put it apart for a while, so maybe the two Ocean Navy Act first. So I may have to fight the British. Because the British might go to war with the French. Check and taunt. And if I want to help the French prevent them from falling to the Nazis, I can't join this faction because it'll be either a Swedish or non-aligned leader. I mean, sorry, communist or non-aligned leader until I flip communist. So strategic decisions will have to be made. Alright, improving machine tools. I looked around, thought about different things. The AI inherits your tech progress, so I had to think, what would I not care? If the AI inherited, could either be anti-tank guns or range improvements, but range improvements are actually really useful if they decide to build fighters. I'm not going to have any tanks in this war. It's just going to be infantry, maybe some motorized divisions, which don't really care very much about anti-tank guns. So, yeah, and this is be necessary for basic high velocity cannons, and gives land warfare breakthrough progress. Need a bit of that. Start building the Rock Island Arsenal up, which there's a focus, support the Rock Island Arsenal, support Rock Island, but it just gives you artillery tech boosts. So Louisiana maneuvers, which I noticed, and I'll probably do them at multiplayer games soon enough. Or Rock Island tank experiments. Rare war plans, there's a lot of actually useful stuff, small bonuses, but there I'm saving up political power. So eventually I'll be able to get to total mobilization or run decisions with limited intervention for war support. Once I switch to it here, I'm on a little different trajectory. Yeah, after guaranteed American dream, I may need to do nothing for a little bit to get war economy as fast as possible. Or I might do two Ocean Navy Act first. We'll see. Depends on how the Civil War is going. Depends exactly where I am with political power. Oh yeah, armory was raided. You guys saw it before. Delaying losing the rifles. Wait a second. I don't have the rifles anymore. Is this gonna... Oh. The event outcome changes. Shoot. Shoot. Goodness, nothing's happened. It's been one day, and I didn't realize that an outcome changed even if you, of course it would, because you need to lose the 1,000 rifles. So, all right, let's just lose those rifles because it's gonna be necessary. All right. Artsmen, yada yada. Choice of what to do next for tech after improved machine tools. The story which I actually added on camera should be exactly the same. The Ralph Talbot. Boom. Oh yeah. Just barely remember what I was doing because pulled these to start them training. Long COVID sucks like that. It's gonna start deploying them. What am I missing? I feel like I'm missing something. Well, leave comments, questions. I'm sure you guys will figure out what I'm missing before I figure out. I think I just mostly actually explained what I was up to. So, by the way, worker conditions and communist raids. You'll notice my support ticking up. Oop. There we go. It's actually less wasteful with fuel and oh yeah, put more P35s in the market. Let's go. Rock Island. Here we go. Old age pensions after a lifetime of work, people deserve to enjoy financial security and respect in old age. What legislation exists to support them? Maybe Social Security Act, I think, already exists, but this is clearly insufficient. So expanding further on Social Security. And maybe in this history, Social Security disability wouldn't have sucked so hard either. I wouldn't be being screwed out of that because of an exemption in the 90s that makes work I did for university while I was in grad school not count, like paid work. The unpaid work that I did in research, I've already just accepted that didn't get any credit for that, even though it's contributing to the economy and it's really just exploitation. That is, my work is no less valuable just because it's unpaid. Just because the labs weren't well funded enough to pay the work. We don't invest enough in research in the country, but the research I did in virology and if I genetics, I think I can say that without revealing who I am. Genetics, virology, stem cells. This was all important work just because it wasn't paid. In fact, the only time I ever got paid for any research I did, the money came from philanthropic foundations that funded research. And I actually because I did that during summers. I actually did get Social Security disability insurance credit for that, for the research I did while I was in school during a summer from Philanthropic Foundation funding some research. But the federal government, never gave me a damn cent for my research. And then now it screws me out of even getting disability credit for that time. They never gave the labs enough to pay me. It's bullshit. But, you know, heck, I would have enough disability credits even with just the paid work I did if they weren't specifically exempted universities who are employing students from having to pay payroll taxes and saying because there are no payroll tax contributions at work, it doesn't count. That was in the 90s. It was a Newt Gingrich thing. It was the head of the Republican party caucus, and in the House or whatever, Senator Gingrich, right? Yeah, he was the that's right. He was the symbolic leader of the Republican Party and the legislator at the time, and worked with Bill Clinton to cut a lot of spending and fuck over a lot of people. He's the reason for a lot of the reforms that were made in the 90s that screwed people. Reagan in the 80s and then Gingrich in the 90s are a lot of the reasons the U.S. sucks today. In exchange, taxes were raised to try and balance the budget, but then they were just cut again under Bush Jr. so that everything was given away for no permanent gain. It was stupid as hell. Clinton gave away the House and he probably did because he wanted to do it. I don't trust the fucker, to say the least. Alright. I need to start thinking about canceling exercises on as many divisions as possible because the Civil War is going to break out very soon, I think. But I think there's only enough time for the 36th Infantry, so... Of course, some of them might be about to reach 58th. Will rank up 11th if through maybe some combat. So green and red, I might want to. These guys, maybe not. I think I need Fred and Dahl to stop training his men. Have them start digging in. He has old guards so he can entrench more deeply. Everyone else should only train people who aren't fully trained. So this will stop the exercise of divisions that have already reached regular. Like you'll see, the 13th Infantry should start reorganizing now. Yep. Here we go. Less equipment lost to attrition too. Arsenal of Democracy. Back when the US stood for something before it started slipping into becoming a fascist state by today. Which is what we are doing. Just because the process isn't completed. I guarantee you within 30 years the United States will be a authoritarian, probably fascist country. Won't happen instantly, probably won't even happen in Trump's years, but it could. Enough that I'm worried it might even happen in the next 4 years, but Trump won't be the end of this. The Democrats get all complacent. They'll think, Trump's gone, he's finished his second term, we're all safe now, and then they'll do nothing, and conditions will get worse for people, and then J.D. Vance or someone will run for president and win, and things will get worse, and it'll be more slide into fascism. the United States is screwed, and I'm trying to get the heck out. I did recently learn is the two countries in Europe that are best for people with disabilities that have the best rules on it, at least, though that could, what I read, could be biased towards just like wheelchair accessibility, which is less important than whether you can move the country if you can't financially support yourself because of a disability. A lot of countries have exemptions for that, but only if you have family already in the country or family sponsors you in the country, which I don't have a sponsor and I don't have family in the country, so I may be fucked anyways. The countries where I have the best chance of applying for like asylum and them accepting that are Sweden and Spain apparently. And Spain has problems with the far right rising up, so Sweden. It's funny, that's the country I might end up in if I manage to get out of the US. Get my life established, so that even if the US is going fascist in 4 years, they might go fascist, in 12 or 18 or 24, I'll still be alive. Might as well make the change now. Eventually there'll be a cure for long COVID. By that point, I'll have had enough time to learn the language and start rebuilding my life once I'm able to work again. Have enough language proficiency, so hopefully I can move. Tried to pull some connections. I'm trying to find a good immigration lawyer people recommend. Just hope it's not impossible to do. Succession. At 8 a.m. today, and it was Louisiana succeeded first, so that means their capital will be New Orleans, which I don't have a prayer of reaching unless they do a naval invasion. Or at least not reaching quickly. I did have thoughts of marching down after I take Little Rock into Louisiana, but it was going to take a while to cut the Confederacy in half. New Orleans was actually where I was planning on doing that. Pushing the parts of Texas after I grabbed Nashville and Little Rock, and then making a thrust for Houston and New Orleans. At 8 a.m., those were my war plans. I know I couldn't draw them on the map yet. At 8 a.m. today, a special envoy from Louisiana arrived at the White House to deliver to Franklin Delano Roosevelt a note from the state legislation announcing that Louisiana will no longer consider itself part of the Republic, undoubtedly because of my attempts to desegregate. It could actually still remain Democratic after this, desegregate the South after the Civil War, and then, get rid of Bowder, but, there's things a lot behind going communist, like giving the Philippines liberty. Anyways, a note from the state legislation announcing that Louisiana will no longer consider itself part of the Republic, claiming this is a fundamental right of any civilized people, including extensively from the Declaration of Independence. The note also stated emphatically that a peaceful succession is in everyone's interest, and that the new state wishes nothing more than to conduct its own affairs as a good neighbor of the United States. Call it what it is: treason. Become owner and control. The Confederacy becomes owner and control of Louisiana. Gains core, I lose my core, but get a claim, and 2 senators are removed from Congress. Neutral bloc forms. The unaligned states, because they do guarantee the American dream before the Civil War. That was intentional. They'll probably run an industrial focus or two. Following the outbreak of hostilities between the United States and Confederacy of American States, I would have also had to change my focus order in a bad way. A number of state legislators have passed motions of non-intervention. These laws order the governor to maintain the territorial integrity of the state and prevent combat troops from either side from entering. They further ban any kind of recruitment efforts by either side, but crucially, do not restrict the sale of arms and munitions to either party in the conflict, provided the payment is rendered beforehand. The motions also stress the states consider themselves to be part of the United States and do not wish to form their own permanent government. They are cowards, certainly, but at least not enemies, or I can do this and lose 10% stability. Go to war with them in Kentucky. The Confederates gain control. They're cowards, certainly, but at least not enemies. This causes to remain neutral. I had no intention of fighting the non-aligned states. I'm not sure it would ever be a good idea with the stability hit and the loss of Kentucky from doing so. which interrupt my factory construction there and stuff. Okay, so I have fewer factories to build stuff with. So, promote New England there, and then New York. I'll flip them after this is done. Should still just barely finish this. It's worth noting the Senate is smaller now, so that makes it a little easier to gain the thresholds I need in the Senate for things. Like this now requires 41 senators instead of 50 something, or 51. Just requires half or a majority. I think it was 50, now it requires 40, or requires more than 41, so 42. Not that it's easy to max Senate support, it's always the House support. The House is still the same size. Darn. Is there an unmapped decision? Oh, that's just aluminum resources. I'm not technically at war yet. I have to wait a day, and I can't start drawing battle plans, which I could have if Texas could succeed first, because it would have neighbored them. Be stupid to move troops in here, because all these states will then switch sides and kick my men out instantly. Oh yeah. Some dockyards. Shouldn't they have disappeared? I thought there was some dockyards in the south. Oh. Not yet. There hasn't been any production on this line yet. Let's swap this to fleet destroyer thing. It's done 12 days. When I have those. These guys are working on their exercises. They'll probably have to finish up their combat, but they can actually do exercises while starting planning as long as the Confederates don't attack them. Actually, they're only going to attack if they're entrenched, so I might want it. That's the wrong guy. Should be looking at Clark and MacArthur. Oop. These guys, let's see. Here, yeah, I'll be able to start marching to Arkansas very soon. And to take this airfield in Virginia and so forth. Can cause weird issues if divisions start spawning, so. This is Share the Empires. Appropriate. Any minute now, the other states will join the Confederates. Nope. There's a Farragut. You know, I'm not sure if that's the first dockyard on that. These things tend to... Convoy escorts, they don't have much health. They can get themselves in real trouble. So on the Lucifer, the Ellis, and the Hebert in for repairs. Yeah, they can get in real trouble if they're damaged and they get in a fight and surface ships show up. The Allen, Parker, because they have so little health, they're early destroyers. Clemson class. They're slow, easier to hit than the Farragut's. Chandler. Stansbury. Then I should probably also do the damaged Farragut class. Shaw, Case, and Perkins. Cool. There we go. Yeah, so there's not actually been any work on the Ralph Talbot. Still no succession of the rest of the states. It may take a little longer. Remember, these guys are slowly entrenching. Already at 4, fully 12. It's because I don't have trench warfare yet. It's switched army doctrines, which I'll do eventually. I will lose access to the suppressive barrage tactic, which is pretty good for attacking. Very good, actually. Pretty sure to actually roll it. Oh, there's no conditions about artillery or anything. It's a good tactic for attacking. Anyhow. These guys are digging in and reorganizing. I won't have to worry about anywhere that Frendall is in charge. Like these parts of the Appalachians. We're losing the capital. Well, I don't mind a few more hours of repairs. Come on. Still nothing. Because I don't like starting repairs near the end of the day. You pay the same cost and don't get the full benefit. But yeah. So work on the Bagley. Whenever I'll take the extra time for my men to organize, entrench, and train. It's not hurting me, that's for sure. There we go. And they declare war. Mere hours after the first state severed its ties to the United States, others followed suit with almost identically signed declarations. Hopes of a peaceful separation were quickly dashed when several demonstrations in the affected states in favor of continued membership in the United States turned bloody, and a number of federal officials were assaulted. In a few cases, supporters of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, or just people accused of insufficient zeal for independence, were lynched by the crowd. Scumbags lynching people. Interim President Alexander Baxter has called these events regrettable but understandable acts of civic retaliation against governmental overreach, and promised the perpetrators presidential pardons if they came forward. He further demanded a complete withdrawal of all federal troops in the territory of the new state, as well as a demilitarized zone at the border to avoid further misunderstandings. President Franklin Delano Roosevelt has refused to even entertain the notion or the military restore order in the states in rebellion. We've been here before. haven't we? Yep. Because they want to treat black people like shit and colored water fountains, all that. And I'm trying to end segregation decades ahead of time. And yeah, I'll eventually take things. Democratic Socialist, which is not Soviet Union, USSR, democratic centralism nonsense. It's multiple parties, just, you know, a socialist ruling party, nationalization of industries. Anyhow, now I can start microing this stuff. I'm gonna pause the stream because there's a lot of battle plans to draw. I will see you folks in. For you, it'll be a second. For me, it'll be a little while. Adieu. And welcome back. Got all this drawn up. As you can see, that took me a little bit. Based on the time on the clock, you can see it was a little while, but saved you guys the time. Let's get going. First stage of Civil War. Probably, since it's only 3 hours, I'll let these guys get one more day of training, and then I'm gonna have to just cancel. Kind of sucks for some of them not to finish the training. They're so close, but they will gain experience in combat and make it up to regular. The ones who are closest. These guys are going nowhere. I just don't have the time to be messing with that, so... Alright. Cool. Ooh. Didn't even... The New England thing stopped, and, I'll probably cancel the Ralph Talbot. Whole bunch of, to have most 18 documents. Cool. What? Yeah. Something else before it. Anyhow, 15 manpower. It's perfect. Throw a planner. Eisenhower. These guys will actually instantly start benefiting because they can actually plan up more. 55% max plan. That's even before Grand Battle Plan, before switching to that doctrine tree. Nice. Actually, all right. No more exercises. There's no battles yet, but I want them to start gaining mission efficiency. Over time, in Appalachia will gain air superiority there. So they gain mission efficiency. I'll slow down enemy divisions marching normally. Need everyone to start organizing. Have to have them step off their plans any moment now. Right. These are my remaining ships. Let's see send the Tennessee in for repairs. Hey, it's aptly named in a way. Tennessee and the Maryland. Both states that remain loyal to the Union, and the battleships named after them. Pairs. Can't do these naval exercises for much longer, but I'll take every bit of naval XP I can get. As soon as I do underway replenishment, I'm also going to swap into trade interdiction. It'll help with choking the Confederacy out by sea and getting some sub-commanders that are decent. I can later become more talented destroyer commanders than what I've currently got. Oh shoot, I do need to set. Yeah, nobody should be going through here. There's just no reason. Or here. Confederacy is probably raiding out to Sargasso Sea. So, cool. How'd that go? Takes a second to redo the supply transfers. Reroute things. Alright, Hawaii wants to send me infantry equipment. Sure, Marineras. Philippines. So my puppets want to send me stuff. Italy wants to send me 2 divisions. And some air wings. Sure, that can't carry the war single-handedly. Soviets 8. They'll get pulled back very soon with the Soviet Civil War. I don't mind. Very small contribution they can make before their Civil War, which can't be too much longer. So, also raises the world tension for whatever the heck it's worth. Oh yeah, aircraft are doing their thing. Stop training. All right. One more day, and where is this in Kentucky? Should be able to add 59th Infantry. I get a few more men. A little more breakthrough. Breakthrough. It's not great. Yeah, I'll have to push into those hills. So acquiring air superiority I'll need. Air base has insufficient supply. Right. I queue up a railway connection. I did. Upgrading that and building that, but I put it way down. Supply is not going to help situation. Guess I can wait till I enlarge this division before I step off. Tomorrow, November 1st. Which my offense was on the first day of November. One's game planning organization. Actually, I might want to wait for. Well, no, these guys would just be harder. Actually, I probably want to wait till they get there. All right. There's the Amazon War, Peru, Ecuador, that fun stuff. Problem is these guys need to go for Little Rock. All right, I can't delay past November 1st, actually. Oh, I should be doing the New England factories before New Jersey. Whoops. That's a mistake. I have 3 mil left, all on M1 Grons. Rearrange that. No, actually, because I have a lot. I want to keep training men as I get them available. Cool. All right. These guys will be in New Mexico. All right, this is going to be a 14.6K infantry. Mm-hmm. Boom. Still trained. There were enough trained men that didn't reduce the veterancy of the division. More breakthrough. Still not as much as the other division here. 48 with guns attacking there. Actually, the plus auxiliary, it's 2472 with. Engineers don't attack. All right. Better to attack at night when divisions suffer fewer crits. So, set MacArthur to launch his plans. Set Clark to launch his. And Bradley, his. Frendall is the one who won't be doing anything. His plans exist more to have to put him at the end. Just so that it's clear. And there. Give me an idea of east to west. All right. Even at higher aggression, they consider themselves too disorganized to attack. Lovely. These guys are grabbing this undefended forest. 1 day, 14 hours. Oh yeah, look at they're ahead of the other guys. Alright, so I'll just tell them to... No, actually, I want them to arrive at the same time. Very few of them are attacking it because they're localization. I guess that's fine. Let the generals decide when to go. For now. Okay, coordinates. These guys are at the same point because battle will break out, defensive battle as soon as they arrive. I think I can make it as far as these mountains. No one seems to be defending them. Interesting. Unexpected. Interesting. Really, these guys do not want to aggressively attack. They want to move in. There's gotta be a reason to organize by now. There's a fight, but most of the men are not. Minute. Oh yeah. Not purchasing anything. So they can forget about that. Definitely not blowing the Panama Canal. Really, people? God. Right, whatever. You guys back him up. Come on. Force him to go into this undefended terrain. Yeah. Actually, that'll work. Attack, darn it. I'm going to micro this, but the AI just doesn't want to attack because of low org. Which I really don't care. They'll organize as they move. Dash level then intends to defend. So actually, the AI is not completely dumb. They will try and rush divisions, I'm sure, to take these objectives. Alright, a couple battles in the air zone here. Enemy used with 18, 24, which means I can have 72 planes worth, but with the low efficiency, way more on casts. Average efficiency of 9. if it. These can all go in close air support. All right, we're an hour and 15 minutes. I got stuff to do, so I'm going to have to leave you folks at this. I wish you all the best. Take care of each other. Be kind to yourselves, and may always find a guiding star to lead you home. Until next time, this is Northstar. Adieu, and best luck.